love dog training. Mr. George is going to work on name game. He's outside of the picture right now, but he's an adolescent German Shepherd dog. So we are going to take what we already know. He knows that B-I-N-G-O means something delicious is going to happen. Now we're going to start choreographing the word B-I-N-G-O with a command. What we're going to work on is name game. So let's first talk about what a dog's name ultimately means. I think that a dog's name ultimately means look here, look at me, look somewhere up here, check in. I doubt that a dog really thinks of their name as their name in the same way that I think of myself as Tanya and you think of yourself as your name. I don't know, maybe they do, but I would guess it's just much more simple to them, and their name just means look, right? Give me your eyeballs. When I was in high school, I lived in Puerto Rico, and one of our teachers, she would commonly say, "Dame sus ojos, dame sus ojos." She'd hold out her hand, and that translates as, "Give me your eyeballs." Like she wanted all of us to give her our eyeballs on a platter. But think of your dog's name that way. It just means check in, give me your eyes, I'm about to tell you a command. All right? So fast forward into the future, the reason why it's really nice for the dog to understand their name means look is we are going to put their name before commands. It's always going to mean, George, sit, George, come, George, down. Name, command. The reason why that's going to be really helpful for your future commands is that it's a lot easier for the dog to follow through when they realize you're the one calling them. You're talking to them, right? If you think about it, 80, 90, 95% of all the words coming out of your mouth are not being directed at the dog, right? Here's George right now. I'm yap, 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 wah, wah, wah. Not applicable to him, right? So one thing I commonly see people do is they'll start barking commands at the dog, come, sit, down. But the dog is like, hey, 90% of the time you're talking on the phone, or you're talking to your partner, or you're talking to a friend, or you're singing along to music that's not relevant to me. So your dog's kind of used to our voice being a little bit like white background music, kind of like I think of Peanuts, where the kids, anytime they hear the parents, all they're saying is wah, 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 wah. It's kind of like that. We're a lot of wah wahs, all right? So basically we're trying to break through the wah, 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 wah. Trying to break through that, say their name, rate our frequency, give me your eyes right here, then we're gonna say the command. And I feel a little nose at my booty, excuse me, somebody's ready to train. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to say his name, which is George, and then so long as he looks in this general area, it doesn't have to be right at my eyes, it's just gotta be checking into this general area, I'm gonna say B-I-N-G-O, and I'm gonna give him a treat. Okay. George, bingo! I'm waiting a couple seconds, then I'm grabbing little dehydrated yumminess. Okay, the funny thing about George, bingo! And then dehydrated yumminess. George, bingo! Good job. All right, so what's gonna happen really quickly is you're gonna get a lot more eye contact, and it's gonna get hard for the dog to look away so you can say his name, so you can B-I-N-G-O him. So when that happens, I like to give little distractions. I might throw a whistle. George, bingo, good boy. Good job. He's gonna have to sniff that, that's fine. Let him sniff it. George, bingo, good boy. I'm gonna let him sniff it. right, so notice you can add in praise once you do bingo, right? So praise is part of a reward, the food is part of a reward. I'm gonna do another time after he hydrates. George, George, bingo. All right, so let's talk about what to do when you've said his name and the dog's not looking at you, right? So what you can do is, yep, you can say the dog's name again, and sometimes I'll do this. Bingo! So I'm making smoochy noises, and I'm doing a little like, doing a little head wobble going on, right? So, bingo. So I just did that just so I could show you guys that sounds, or whatever. You could do whatever, just bring attention to this part of you, all right? So one thing that's gonna start to happen once you're doing this is rather than look at your ojos, your eyeballs, your dog is going to start to look at your hands in anticipation of savory deliciousness. So when that happens, let's just say you say, George. Let's just pretend George is actually looking at my eyes. Let's pretend that he's looking at my hands. Then I would give him 3 seconds, right? 3 seconds to look anywhere up here. But if he needs a little bit of help, I'll do my head nod. Bingo. If you have a super young puppy, super young meaning anywhere from 8 weeks to 12 weeks, fairly new to the world, some puppies are so young they don't even have the best eyesight that asking for their name, they're just kind of a blurry mess, right? Yes, they can see you, but details are not even, super strong. So one thing that you can do, if they're struggling with the name look at me, just say their name and give them a treat. Say their name, give them a treat. Just like you would condition BINGO or your marker, right? So what that does is it creates goodwill with the puppy and a positive association. So the puppy's like, every time I hear that thing, I hear that sound, good things happen. So once the dog is a little bit more mature and makes more eye contact, then you can start to work on more that the name means look at me. Your homework is I want you to do this twice a day, and I want you to mix it up in about 5 different locations. Outside your living room, in your bathroom, wherever. This is called generalizing the behavior. This way your dog learns whenever I hear the syllables, my name, whatever it is, and wherever your dog hears it, it's gonna have meaning. If you only trained in your living room and you didn't reach beyond that, your dog would be responsive to her name in your living room, but as soon as you needed it out in the backyard or at the park, you're gonna notice her response rate really goes down. So you really wanna generalize it so that she knows that her name means look here, 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 and there.